What up, people? Wait a minute. I know I'm a little bit off center. Let me help you out. There you go. Sometimes it can be a trip doing a laptop. Anyway, you know who I am? You know what this is, and you know what time it is. For the uninitiated, this is the other side of ropes. Naturally, we're talking ropes, so that can only mean one thing. It's got something to do with a ring, right? Alright, since this ain't boxing, let me break it down some more. This is the video column pertaining to independent wrestling from a wrestler's point of view, and I'm the wrestler in question. Who am I? My name is Shaka. Sub moniker, Black Magic. Yeah, I know it's a bit off. I gotta shake it up on occasion. Give me a fake. Give me a break, guys. If you haven't heard of me, well, I'm not surprised. Like I said, it's independent wrestling. I'm not on television. And I'm quite content with being under the radar, thank you very much. Because why? Most of the stuff on TV isn't exactly wrestling. And that goes into my next particular subject matter. Those of you may seem to be conflicted, and there's people across the board, not just on the fan side, also on my aspect. In other words, yes, fellow wrestlers, who may seem a bit off about the distinction between a professional wrestler and a sports entertainer. Let's see if I can help break this down. This covers a few levels here. Okay. Now, anybody might remember me rambling a few months ago, as in last year, about some nonsense that the National Wrestling Alliance got tied up into about, well, definitely before my time. It was in 1954. And if anybody's wondering, no, I'm not that old. I mean, like I said, I just turned 40 like not even a month ago. Actually, it was a month ago. So, 1954, hey, not only was I not a gleam in my father's eye, hell, the man just hit puberty, for God. No, he didn't even hit puberty. So, alright, what's this got to do with wrestling? 1954 was when the National Wrestling Alliance got sued by the Department of Justice. Why? They violated antitrust law. Nobody knows what that is? Well, if you know anything about American history, President Teddy Roosevelt, not Franklin, not FDR, Teddy Roosevelt. This is the Rough Rider, that guy. Robin Williams played him, Night in the Museum. Yeah, that Roosevelt. He put forth a thing about the antitrust laws. In other words, that's a law saying that you cannot monopolize a business in America. You gotta have room to compete. That's the whole essence of capitalism. Well, what happened was National Wrestling Alliance, y'all know as the NWA, pretty much squashed all the competition. And it became what was called the stranglehold. And if anybody's wondering about the stranglehold today, well, you don't have to look that far. All you got to do is, let's see, Friday night you turn to SmackDown. Monday night you turn to Raw. I'm talking about the WWE. Now, how did that happen? Think about it. The last 10 years, Vince bought out his competition. He bought WCW, which used to be part of the NWA, if anybody remembers. Actually, World Championship Wrestling actually used to be in Australia when Jim Barnett had it. And he shut it down and brought it over back to the States. And it picked up where Georgia Championship left off. And it became World Championship Wrestling there. Nobody knows about Jim Barnett? You can look that up too. Matter of fact, he kind of gave Vinnie Mac a hand. Oh yeah, like I said, it was two Vincent McMahons. You have Vincent J. That was the father. That was Vince Sr. Vince Jr. is the one you know now. Vincent Kennedy. That's Vincent K. But Jimmy Barnett helped him out after he was ousted from the NWA. Now, like I said, he bought out his competition. Now, Extreme Championship Wrestling also had ties once upon a time with the National Wrestling Alliance. If anybody remembers the whole thing with Shane Douglas, they were part of NWA. And I believe that was at the time after they wasn't as powerful. And let's see. I can't remember names all that well right about now. But yeah. It'll hit me probably after I'm done shooting this thing. Anyhow. Vince picked up where the National Wrestling Alliance left off with the Stranglehold. Now, why did he call it sports entertainment? It's his term. He came up with it when he took over from his dad. He bought the shares from off of Gorilla Monsoon. Simple. He didn't want a reenactment of 1954. He didn't want to get sued by the Department of Justice. And just to make sure that happened, he turned around and did what he did about 10 years, just less than 10 years ago. In other words, what did he do? Told everybody it wasn't real. Well, why did he do that? It's called covering your ass. When you have stock that went public about 3 years prior, what else would you do? You don't want to lose all of that. Got to get that far and just to have you lose your ass. Now, it gets deeper. His father told him not to go nationwide. This isn't just television because he actually travels. I mean, he's got his guys going on 360 days out the year. No health benefits. There's no exit plan. And people don't wonder why these guys are sitting up there having drug problems. You're on a grind like that. Just anything's bound to happen. There's a limit to what your body can take. So, what happens? You have several states who are regulated. I'll give you a good example. Pennsylvania is a regulated state. You don't have to have a license to wrestle in Pennsylvania, but you need one to be a promoter. And a lot of people turn around and done some outrageous things to make sure they try to run a promotion. Just to run. They've taken out extra mortgages, they've put up collateral, and lost their asses thereafter because you still need money to advertise. Virginia. You need a license to run a promotion, and you need a license to wrestle. And to wrestle, you also have to have a physical. You need to have physical clearance from a doctor saying you can wrestle. And it's only $10 because I've been with DPOR a few times with NWA Virginia. New Jersey is regulated, which is why Combat Zone found its way over here. It said none of that blood and barbed wire stuff. Nope. New York was regulated because you had to have an x-ray, fingerprints, an EKG, but they relaxed it. How do I know? Well, they're not regulated, not even for mixed martial arts over there, because the guy I fought was from New York, and he came to PA. Just saying. Delaware? Well, you can try to turn around and say, oh yeah, I've said this before. You can turn around and perpetrate, oh, well, we're sports entertainers. Oh, they got hip to that too, some states, because Delaware turn around and tell you, you're sports entertainers? We don't care. We still want your money. We also want the names of the guys on the card. We want their real names. We want their addresses. We want their ring names. Notice I said ring names, just like in boxing. We want their ring names. And you want to pull another fast one on us? We want to know what the outcome of the match is. So, we don't care if it's sports entertainment. We don't care if it's wrestling. We want to know what's going on. You're still going to pay us. That's what some of the athletic commissions done in some of the states. And what the Vince tried to do to counteract this, kind of akin to the same thing the guys did in the National Wrestling Alliance during the territories. Only what they did was they had state officials, representatives, congressmen, or whatever on the take. In other words, bribe money, folks. Now, what did Vince do? Did anybody remember what happened a couple of years ago? Linda tried running for senator in our home state of Connecticut. Why? You get some inside influence that takes some of the flack off. Oh yeah, this may actually ring a bell to some of you guys. For you birthers out there that try to give Obama some flack, y'all forgot one small thing. We all wasn't saying all this smack when he was a senator for Illinois. Just saying. Just saying. Now, just so you know, that's the only time I voted. Yeah. And I don't really care about Republicans, Democrats, and he has happened to be black and all that, but I'm going to enlighten you with something my grandmother said. Now, my grandmother was a ward person. She was a ward leader, and she was a committee person for the neighborhood, and she was in charge of raising the voter numbers for her neighborhood, and she worked for Senator Hardy Williams, the late Senator Hardy Williams, not the one in office now. And this is from a 60-some-year-old woman before Alzheimer's took over, and she's the one that told me this. I didn't expect to hear this from this woman's lips. You have to watch the regimes. She said this. And she's from Georgia. And sometimes you have to pick the lesser of two evils. Now, you weigh those type of things. I couldn't quite see McCain going ahead and being diplomatic. I see him dozing off at the daggone G7 talks. And somebody wake him up. Just wake him up. With Obama, you can at least be a little bit more engaging. You know. But anyway. Shout out to my people out in the West. Mr. Graves in Carson City. White Trash Johnny Logan. This Sunday after next, we're going to try to get PT Player again for Top Rope Radio. Sick Nick for NWA Wild West. Dawn Holly out in Friends Pro Wrestling in Oklahoma. The Chocolate Chop out over in Florida. I'm talking about Mr. Marcus. Bobby Sanford. Atlas J. Horn. Kamala Jr. My peeps in Power Pro Wrestling. My peeps down in Georgia and Tennessee. My peeps over in Elite Generation Wrestling. And over in Doc Diamonds. Let's see. I'm probably going to forget a few, but I got a short window here, guys, so bear with me. My Maximum Championship crew, the 212 and the 215 Empire. Oh yeah, Electric Jesus, Atu. Party. My people over in Europe. Of course, I already aforementioned PT Player himself, Mr. Staniforth, Drewy and Woo, the Milkshake, the Ginger Snap, Miss Vicky, Jim and Rough and Ready, Tobes and Craig Gunner, down in South Africa for South African Punishment. I'm talking about the family Madu. Back up north to my people over in Belgium. Robin, Lori, Homeless, Thorax, Mr. Demento, Rob Raw and Wendy. My people over in Holland. I'm talking, of course, G-Spot, Uncle Vito Il Villatore Toscani, Andy F. and Patterson, Rico Bushido, Twan, and Hots, Edenderdad. Wie geht's zusammen all in Deutschland? Of course, starting over from Berlin on over. The House of Jazz, Craig BC, the two Susies, the one in Berlin and in Dresden. Ahmed and Crazy Sexy Mike. Silvana, Katrin, Sandra, Maddie, Kathy, Rick the Voice Valentine. Oh yeah, Marcus and Tazzy. Of course, WrestlingJunkies.de and Wrestling Fever. Switch them around and you say it respectively. MC Logan to the boys over in Top Catch and Andrea Bobic, the Queen Bee. The boys down in Austria. And of course, Crazy Donnie Tiger for, Deutsche Wrestling Alliance. Fight Club Finlandia and Starbuck. Pro Wrestling Fighters and Marcus. Pro Wrestling Eve. Yenny, Mina, and of course, Jazzy. For the rest of you guys I left out, well, I'm trying to keep it short and I'm trying to keep it simple. But just to be on the safe side. Legends Tour is coming up in about another month from now. On that particular note, I think I've managed to truncate the shout-outs to some degree. So, incense. This has been another episode of The Other Side of Ropes. This has been Red, and as always, it's been real. I'm out, people. Peace.